Hi, welcome to another edition of the Alan Rosenberg Show. You know what series we're doing. My entire record collection of about 5,800 albums. We're up to the letter E, and this is a manageable one. I currently have 17 artists and 82 albums that start with the letter E. Let's get right to it. There are two major artists that I have a lot of albums from, and then there's one that's got big potential we'll talk about. All right, we're going to start off with one of the really biggies. And that is the Eagles. You know, one of the biggest bands in America, worldwide, really. I never really considered myself a big Eagles fan. Lo and behold, I have exactly 20 Eagles albums. How did that happen? I don't know. I've replaced most of them because when I got this box set, this is a beautiful box set, which has, 7 of the Eagles albums right there? 4, 5, 7 of the original Eagles albums. They did this beautifully. I've shown this box in other videos. When you take them out, it looks like this. And then they reproduce the original album. So if it's got a gatefold, like the debut album, it's got the gatefold like that. The albums sound beautiful. Here's Desperado. And here's On the Border. And you probably can't see it, but it's textured. So they even reproduced the original album, the textured bit of it. One of these nights has embossed. So if you feel that, it's embossed. This is a beautiful box set. Here is Hotel California and the Long Run and the Gatefold and even the live one, Eagles Live, and again embossed. You feel it. So hats off. I mean, they're one of the largest selling bands of all time, and Asylum did a great job on this, Electro Asylum. This is a bonus one in there called Funky New Year. So this came in the box of Please Come Home for Christmas. So right here, whatever this is, 7 or 8 albums from the Eagles right there. And we're going to stick that up there. But I do have their compilations. Of course, one of the biggest selling albums of all time, the Eagles' Greatest Hits, from the early part of their career, and the Eagles' Greatest Hits Volume 2, which is post-Hotel California. And then this is an import, the very best of the Eagles, so you get a bit of both, which is really good. Not enough greatest hits. Well, how about the very best of the Eagles? And this is a 3-disc version, really, because you got the 2 discs, and it also comes with a bonus limited edition bonus DVD, and it's a track listing on this set. So this is another beautiful set. Looks like that. And then Hell Froze Over. And they did Hell Freezes Over, a really excellent performance, and I have this on Laserdisc as well. And this might surprise a lot of people. So I don't actually listen to the Eagles a huge amount. Never really did. I mean, I like them, I appreciate them. I don't think they're overrated. Just never really listened to their albums that much because they're kind of overplayed to a certain extent. This album, when it came out, their studio record, Latter Day One, Long Road Out of Eden. I loved this album, and it was a 2 CD set, and this is kind of like the deluxe edition of it. And for whatever reason, man, I guess it didn't, radio didn't play a lot of these new songs to a certain extent, so it wasn't really overplayed. And I just thought it was a great, great album, and this was a huge hit for me. I love this album, and this album actually went like top 3 for me, which is a pretty big deal. You got Live from the Forum, which is the Latter Day Eagles. To me, I kind of get offended. I don't really consider the Eagles touring right now as the Eagles. I mean, after Glenn Frey passed away, I remember Henley saying, well, that's the end of the Eagles, but that didn't last too long. But I picked it up because I found it cheap. I never listened to it. Here's a box set, 1972, 1999 selected works. It does have a cool live show, the Millennium Concert. So this is a box set that was originally in a bigger box, and this is now the shrunken version, which takes up a lot less space. So for a guy who's not like a huge Eagles fan, yeah, I have a lot of Eagles, and I don't listen to them too much, but when I do, it's certainly enjoyable. The funny thing is, I love bootlegs, and growing up in the 70s and 80s, the Eagles, as huge as they were never really an overly cool band. They were not a band that had a big bootleg situation. Now, when I go to the used record stores, I see Eagles bootlegs all the time, and I did buy 2 of them. Here's Spirit of 76, live from Japan. This was a good one. But this is the one I was really interested because they hadn't released an official live record from the Long Road Out of Eden tour, and I really wanted it because I love that album so much. So this is them recorded live from the '02 on that particular tour. So this one is kind of really cool. It's called Fly On Again. And as you can see, 3 discs, the full concert, great set list, but it does feature tracks from that album, and I really wanted to hear them live. You could hear disc 2 right there, No More Walks on the Wood, and Waiting in the Weeds, No More Cloudy Days, all from that album. Really good stuff. So the Eagles, right there, 20 albums that I have in total, and they started off. After that, we got Steve Earle. I only have 2 Steve Earle albums. I have had others. These are the 2 that I decided to keep. And this is Copperhead Road, which was kind of a hit here. You know, a lot of people know that song. And this is an excellent album. And then I kept Ain't Ever Satisfied, the Steve Earle Collection, which is a 2 CD set. And I kind of realized that for me, as much as I like Steve Earle, this is enough to cover it. So, Steve Earle. And definitely a big fan of. Or moderate fan of. 2 is enough. Echo and the Bunnymen, I have a collection called Songs to Learn and Sing. And I realized that this is enough for me as well. I like them. They have some amazing songs, The Killing Moon right there. I did have their box set. I think it was 4 discs. I just realized that I didn't need all that much. For me, this is enough Echo and the Bunnymen. And next up, we got Dave Edmonds. Kind of feel the same way. I used to have a 2 CD anthology, and I kind of downgraded. I have been purging for a while to make more room. The Best of Dave Edmonds, a single disc on Swan Song, which is where he started from, is enough for me. Right there, 13 great, great tracks from Dave Edmonds, and let's pray that he stays well. I know he's been not doing so great, unfortunately. Here's an interesting band called the 88. I saw them. They were really quirky, and they wound up being the backing band, and it seemed to me that it wasn't totally planned out for Ray Davies. And it was a really cool concert. And then I wound up finding, well, I bought some of their CDs from them at that point, and they autographed them, but I've found some since. This is one called Kind of Light. You could see kind of low budget. This was early album from them. This is the one they sold at the show called Over and Over, and I had them autograph it. They were very nice, and they were really good, you know, quirky kind of a band. And here's another one called Not Only, But Also, and I wound up getting that one as well. You know, not amazing stuff, but definitely quirky and pretty cool that, you know, they were playing with Ray Davies and wound up backing him, and it was a really cool concert. Next up, you're probably thinking about this band, Electric Light Orchestra. I have explained that as much as I try Jeff Lynne and Electric Light Orchestra, I could really only take them in small bits. I appreciate his genius in songwriting and production. Produced great albums I like Full Moon Fever from Tom Petty. Something about ELO that I just don't love them. Everybody had a New World record. I had it on vinyl, upgraded it to this with bonus tracks, you know, Telephone Line. Grow up listening to that. And then this I found out was all I really needed for a long time. Strange Magic, The Best of Electric Light Orchestra, a 2 CD compilation that is totally comprehensive for my needs. I was really thrilled with that. And then I kind of realized, well, that's a lot of ELO. So I downgraded also to this, the Essential ELO, where you get 1 disc with 15 songs. So if I'm in the mood to really play it out, I'll go with the double. Otherwise, I'll go with this. It is a rare occasion that I really listen to ELO all that often. What can I tell you? You can't just love everybody. Now, the next one's interesting. If you watch my channel and I do, haul videos, over like a 2-week period, I found for $1 each like a ton of Joe Ely albums. Now, or Ely. I saw him live back in the early 80s it was. He was great. Never had any of his albums, and now I have 10. There they are right there. I have not heard one of them. Remember I keep saying I got close to 300 albums in my backlog? 10 of them are Joe Ely. I also got like 10 from John Prine. They got them around the same time. I'll get to them. But I got the Dusty Road, and I got Twistin' in the Wind, and Letter to Laredo. I paid like $1 for all of these things. This was a nice one. Live at Liberty Lunch. I'm a live album fan, and I saw him live, and he was killer. I know I'm going to really like him. I just have to get to him. Here's Lord of the Highway. And by the way, if you want to send your pitch to me and say which one I should listen to first, Musta Nada Got a Lotta. That's this one. This is the classic live shots, and that's a live one. I'll probably start with this one, I would imagine. And Honky Tonk Masquerade. So a great collection of Joe Ely. Here's a self-titled. And then even a best of, which is called Time for Traveling, the best of Joe Ely, Volume 2, actually, so not Volume 1. So let me know what you think, where to start. But I will get to him as soon as I can. I got a big backlog. Let's keep going. The other major artists that I have, and I got 22 albums. We are talking Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I'm a huge progressive rock fan. I saw ELP the first time in 1977 on the Works tour, and it was unforgettable. And these are remastered right there. The classic debut album, right? And Tarkus. And these are remastered, really nice. Pictures at an exhibition. Trilogy. There's a lot of versions of ELP albums out there. They get remastered, different labels, sometimes bonus tracks, sometimes not. This one's got a bonus track. The Making of Brain Salad Surgery. Here's the classic. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Ladies and gentlemen, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. That's how they used to open the show. Here's Works Volume 1. That was the tour I saw the first time. I will never forget them doing C'est La Vie live. I literally left my body and went to heaven. And there's live versions of about there that are just, you can still do that. Here's Works Volume 2, kind of leftovers. Here's the Works live record, which was from that amazing tour, but this was with the orchestra, which was killer. I did not get to see them with the orchestra. I saw them at the Nassau Coliseum. Here's a King Biscuit Flower Hour from that same era. Really cool. And then a bootleg of the actual show I was at. You know, viewers have commented, isn't it great when you get a bootleg of a show you were at? This was a radio broadcast. They had broadcast it after the night I saw them. I taped it on an 8-track, and then I finally found it on CD. And ELP actually released this officially as one of their bootlegs. Nassau Coliseum, February 9th, 1978. What did I say? I saw them in 77. I lied. It was the 77 tour. I guess it followed into 78. This was the show I actually saw, and it was amazing. So that's a good one. Some other ones. The Best of Emerson, Lake and Palmer live. This is Fanfare. There's a lot of compilations. This is another one. And then some best of. Some I need, some I don't. I can probably get rid of this one. The Best of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Really don't need that. I have the Atlantic Years, which was a double CD, a lot more comprehensive. But for a single, this kind of supplanted the other one. The Very Best of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I think I'm going to purge the other one. I got to make room. I don't need that other one. Emerson, Lake and Powell, I'm going to include. This is a one-off album they did with Cozy Powell replacing Carl Palmer, but they kept the ELP, so to speak. And Touch and Go was actually a hit. It's actually not a bad record. And this one I'm going to throw in there also. It really, I guess, should be under T for 3. But this is another offshoot of ELP. It had Keith Emerson and Carl Palmer and, Robert Byrne replacing Greg Lake. But it's okay. And then we still got, I forgot these, Love Beach. One of the most derisive albums ever made. You know, I don't think it's particularly good or great. Here's Black Moon, which I actually thought was a pretty strong return. You know, they modernized their sound, but it worked on that. And this was the live album from that tour, and they were really good. Saw them around that time, live at the Royal Albert Hall. And then finally, In the Hot Seat, which really gets trashed, but there's actually a couple of songs on here that I really like. Daddy, I think, is a beautiful ballad. Man in a Long Black Coat's a really cool version of a Bob Dylan track. 2 more from Emerson, Lake and Palmer you want to see. The Return of the Manticore, which is their label, of course. And this was a box set, 4 CD box set. And you can see the track listing. And this is really comprehensive and really good box set, certainly for its time. You know, it's got the booklet in there and really nicely done. You know, it's not as extravagant as the newer box sets for sure, but for its time, yeah, state-of-the-art box set. There was another one they did after that that I got in this Jethro Tull size box, and this is a bigger box. This is called From the Beginning, and this has 5 discs instead of 4. And there it is. And this one, you get a lot more stuff, some rarer stuff, and really covers their whole history. And I also like the size. You know, this is the size that Jethro Tull does famously. And it looks just like that. 2 discs in the front, 3 in the back, and the book. Look at that book. You know, this is like the Jethro Tull stuff. You know, you really get your money's worth on these puppies. These are just great, you know. Interviews with the members, going through their whole history. Literally, it's just awesome. Beautifully done. So, and then you got the discography in the back, and it covers their whole career. Yeah, really, really well done. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. So what did I have? A lot. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, 22 albums, and one of the all-time great, epic progressive rock bands, and a great band, obviously. Let's keep going. You're not going to see too much rap, but one of the artists that I really do like, believe it or not, is Eminem. And you're like, really? I got into Eminem through my son. You know, my son, I used to take my son, and still do. We go record shopping, and he's got a huge record collection like me. And he got into Eminem really young, and I used to hear it all the time. And he's really catchy, and I thought he was really, really talented. So I wound up starting to buy the CDs on my own because, you know, you'd find them used. And the funny thing is, you know, he curses all the time. So when my son was young, we got him the edited ones, and it was unlistenable. You would just hear beep, 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 beep. And my son was young, and I'm like, you can't listen to this. This is unlistenable. Beep, 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 beep. So went from a young age, I did, lousy parent that I am, but we got him the parental advisory one, where every other word is the F word. But I tried to explain to him, you know, listen, these are words that have a lot of power, and if you use them all the time, they lose their effectiveness. So try not to use them, you know, until you get older and when you really need them. I don't know if that parenting really worked that well, but my son's doing great. So maybe we did okay. Here's the Eminem albums that I got, the Slim Shady LP. I have a pretty good collection of Eminem, as you're going to see. The Eminem Show. These are really good albums. He's very hooky. You know, his lyrics are great, his storytelling is great, and the songs are good. Here's the Marshall Mathers LP. They're a little long. That's the problem with him. Here's Encore. I think that's a deluxe edition I got, right? There's a bonus CD on here. And Curtain Call, the hits. This is a really good one. You know, if you want to get into Eminem, that's not a bad way to start. This one has stands, mixes, so it's got a bonus disc that's you don't really need. But the best of is great. Here's Relapse. Got that one. The latter day ones, I gotta say, I didn't love as much as the earlier ones. You know, it just happens with a lot of artists. Here's Recovery. Got that one. And I also got Marshall Mathers, the second one, Marshall Mathers 2. And this is really nice packaging. Looks like that. But I got to say, you know, it was my son's influence indirectly because we used to play it in the car all the time. And even my wife was like, yeah, he's really good. This one has a bonus disc. Eminem, you might be surprised. There's eight Eminem albums right here. All right, let's keep going. In the backlog, this is still not even open. This is Eno. And here come the Warm Jets. And that's a backlog album, totally sealed. We'll see what I think of it. John Entwistle of The Who, moderate fan. And this is Whistle Rhymes. This is a good one. I like this album. Got that. This one's got bonus tracks. It's one of the better ones. This is King Biscuit Live, a live show. It's okay. And then we got the best of John Entwistle, Thunder Fingers. This is probably all you really need out there. It's got Too Late to Hear, the title track of his last studio record, really, and that's a killer track. I had some other John Entwistle that I didn't keep to make room. I don't need all of them. Enya, When I'm in the mood, which is not that often, but these are the two biggies. We got Watermark, and we got, which one is this one? Shepherd Moon. These are the two big Enya albums. And you know what? When you want to chill out and you got a headache, it's not a bad listen, and I don't mind having it. Melissa Etheridge is next, and I only kept this one at this point. This is a double. This is called Greatest Hits, The Road Less Traveled, the deluxe edition. And this is one of those deluxe packages that I like. And this one is like the best of. And disc 2 is a DVD with music videos and live performances. And, you know, that's all I need from Melissa Etheridge. It's good. The Eurythmics. I know a lot of people love them. I don't. I appreciate them. But I don't actually totally love them. And for me, the Greatest Hits is all I need. I never really listen to them. I think they're really talented. They're in the Hall of Fame. I like these songs. They're just not a band that I go to too often, and that's all I need from the Eurythmics. Two jazz albums are going to almost end it. We got this classic album cover. I just love this cover. This is Undercurrent from Jim Hall and Bill Evans. This is one of the greatest covers, in my opinion, of all time, and nice music that goes with it. This album cover is not on all the versions of this album. They kind of replaced it on some versions. I do not know why. This is the Blue Note version. And then this is killer. I love this. This is Bill Evans and Randy Brecker, the Soul Bop Band live. This is killer. This is a 2 CD set that looks like that. Great jazz, very up, and live. Yeah, this was one that I really loved. The last one is a box set, and the only Everly Brothers album I have. There are Everly Brothers stuff on lots of compilations I have. But this is all I need. The Everly Brothers Heartaches and Harmonies. This is still in my backlog. This is a lot to get through. 4 discs of the Everly Brothers on Rhino. So I'll get to this eventually. This is what the booklet looks like. That old style. Nothing wrong with it. You know, certainly in its time, this was state of the art. Now the booklets are even more extensive. But this one's pretty good, as you can see. And it's got discographies and really interesting information. Really well done. Yeah, this is a good booklet. And a really in-depth 4 CD set. That's what it looks like inside. And eventually, I will get through it. But Heartaches and Harmonies from the Everly Brothers ends it. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Relatively quick, 23 minutes. About 82 albums. Did I cover all of them? I think there might be some left downstairs, but not too many. There might be 82 albums here. 17 artists. That's the letter E. I hope you're enjoying the series. Again, my collection of 5,800 albums. There is a playlist. We're doing it alphabetically. This was letter E. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. I really appreciate your communication. I really appreciate your support. You know, I do videos, and you never know if I'm wasting my time. Do people like it? So it feels good, you know, to hear back. And even constructive criticism always helps as well. I hope you had a good weekend. It's Sunday night, 8:30. I'm not going to post this, I think, until tomorrow morning, maybe. Probably everybody's watching football tonight. And I think the Emmys are on. So I'll post this tomorrow morning. I hope you enjoy it. I will see you next time on the Alan Rosenberg Show. And if you're new and you're enjoying my channel, check out playlists and hit subscribe. Help my little channel to grow. 5 years I'm heading into this thing. Alrighty, see you next time.